It's really important that we get a little bit of help with when things aren't going as we think they should or how we'd like them to go. And so take it out, say stop. And that's okay. It's okay to say stop to your clients because as we say to them, you are unique. We are all unique. We all will react differently because we all have a different problem. Mentoring with Geraldine is a bite-sized practitioner podcast for naturopaths, nutritionists, herbalists and practitioners, responding directly to the needs of a practicing natural therapist. With interviews, herbal discussions, something business, something clinical, you'll get the variety you need to enjoy and stay motivated and practice. So thanks for joining me today. Don't forget to rate, review and subscribe to the podcast for our episodes. If you'd like more support, get in contact and I look forward to working with you soon. Hello, welcome to Mentoring with Geraldine and the Bite-Sized Podcast. How the devil are you? So I was on a co-working and Q&A call today in the Academy. The Q&A means instead of just 5 minutes of chat to get our focus, so we all know what we're doing, and 25 minutes of silent working and then another 5 minutes, with the Q&A we have a 15 minutes where we can ask questions. And someone came on the call and she asked about what do we do if the plan doesn't go the way it's meant to go with our client? What happens if perhaps the client has diarrhea and we make the diarrhea worse, for example? So when we think about our client, what are we prepared to do and what are we prepared to change? Do we, in the example of diarrhea, need some testing? Do we need to send them off for a CDSA or stool sample be taken to the GP and put through Medicare? Do we need a little bit more testing? Are we giving too many supplements? So again, in the example of diarrhea, are we giving something, maybe a weed and seed? Are we giving a probiotic? Perhaps we're giving some prebiotics as well, and those prebiotics making it worse. Or maybe they're making the person constipated, which is what we don't want, the reverse. Maybe that diarrhea is overflow. Are we giving too much so we don't know what's causing the problem? Or can our client tune out, it's definitely the herbal mix. As soon as I take it, I go straight to the toilet. Or I took everything at bedtime and I woke up in the morning. I had to wake up at 5 a.m. and race to the toilet. So, right, we took everything at night. We can't differentiate which one item it was if that happens because everything was taken at once. So we're going to need to separate things out. We're probably going to need to take things out as well. Then the big decider is which one thing will I leave in? Will I take everything out for 3 or 4 days and then reintroduce one thing at a time so that we see the client going back to stability over a few days before we add something? Maybe it's something within the herb mix. Maybe where they're very sensitive and it should be a very low dose herb mix. So if you think the herb mix is the answer to the problem and that's the biggest thing that needs to go in, or maybe you think it's a probiotic that needs is your top choice that has to go in, then we want to go back in with that top choice first, but we want to go in at the lowest dose possible or a spread dose. So with a herbal mix, for example, we'd go drop dosing. So we'd actually head to less than 1/4 ml. We'd be looking 1 ml is approximately 20 drops. So 1/2 ml is approximately 10 drops. Obviously, there's viscosity and thickness. A drop of ginkgo is totally different weight, size, and thickness to a drop of licorice, for example. So that's why I'm saying approximately 10 drops. So 1/4 teaspoon is approximately 5 drops. So you might want to start with 1 drop. Or if they've come to you and said, I am so sensitive and I can't take these things, then it might be that we're starting off with what's called, as I'm sure you remember, a simple. That is, we're starting off with 1 herb at 1 drop through the day so that we reach that 1/4 ml by the end of the day. So there's 5 drops, so we'd have 1 drop. And then we'd wait, and then we'd have another drop. So we'd be spreading it out to get to that 1/4 ml. How is it with your client? What is the problem? What is making them worse? What is making them better? We do need to sit down. We need to take out those biggest offenders. I mean, there's lots of offenders, aren't there? You know, milk is a huge offender when it comes to diarrhea and urgency in the toilet. Eggs can be a problem as well. I know a lot of people will race to the loo after an egg. People will race to the loo after coffee. Now, the traditional coffee poo. But we have to think, is it the coffee or is it what they have within the coffee? Because coffee has, I don't know, was it 250 or something? I can't remember where I got that number from, but maybe that's totally wrong and I've just said a random number. But coffee itself is chemical based. So there's a lot of chemicals in there. So coffee is supposed to be good for us. It is good for some people. It's not good for everyone. Or it might be that person is having too much or they need a break from it. So we do need to go through what the offenders are. We need to sit and think with the client, when is it the hurry to the toilet, or when is it the coughing starts, or when is it that this problem recommences, and work back from there. What happened exactly prior to that? So it was herbal mix. Within 3 minutes, you were in the bathroom or you started coughing or whatever. Okay, so what's within that is causing that problem? If it's something like, say, you've added a prebiotic, perhaps like PHGG, then generally we won't get an immediate effect, but the effect might happen quite soon and quite repetitively. So we still have to think, how long will these things take effect? Which item is it? And have I given too much? Because we need to go back to the one item and we need to reduce the dose of that item. So think to yourself, what do I feel out of my prescription is the most important thing in my prescription? Maybe you gave them, or you'd mentioned just fleetingly, they'd be able to eat kimchi, meaning when their stomach was better, but they've taken that as I can eat kimchi now, and maybe that fermented food or the sauerkraut or whatever it is that they've started eating since seeing you is actually the problem. So we need to nut it out. We need a diet diary, and we need times that things are occurring after items of food, as well as the supplements or herbs that we've given them. It's always a good idea just to remove them, just say stop taking them, let's leave it a few days, let's let everything settle, and then we recommence one at a time at a very low dose and see how we go. So today's is just a very quick one. It's really important that we get a little bit of help with when things aren't going as we think they should or how we'd like them to go. And so take it out, say stop, and that's okay. It's okay to say stop to your clients because, as we say to them, you are unique. We are all unique. We all will react differently because we all have a different problem. Even if we've done exactly the same thing, we both, break a leg, there will be difference in repair time, won't there? There will be, even if it looked like exactly the same break, there's going to be differences in how the person gets better. We both I can't eat prawns, whereas my husband's munching away on prawns. So we're all different and we're all unique, and we just need to remind our clients of that and remind ourselves of that when we're not being as successful with our clients as we had first hoped. And that's across the board, no matter what your modality is. Maybe you're a massage therapist and someone's saying, my shoulder really isn't getting better, and here you are massaging it. Well, let's go back to first base. What are you doing with the shoulder on a regular basis for it not to be getting better? Are you doing the exercises I've given you as well? Are you sitting badly? What is it at first base that our problem is? And how can we change things as to make it as simple for you, the change, as possible, and to get that improvement and figure out what it is? All right, I'm going to leave it there. I hope you have an absolutely brilliant rest of day, and I look forward to chatting with you soon. See ya. Thanks so much for joining me today. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast for the weekly episodes. If you'd like even more support and learning, then the Academy is for you. Here you'll find part 2 of the herbal discussions, more clinical learning, and case studies to support your clients in practice. Bye for now.